Well, hello, Dragon family. Araya AndaRa coming to you live here. It is Tuesday, and love that I'm sharing some dragon magic that happened this last week. As soon as I had all the photos ready that I'll load in the comments and the description and all, I looked up to hit start and it's 11:33 on my clock. I just love the alignments like that. So wanted to touch base this week. A lot of energy flowing. A lot of you are going to be feeling it. The Quantum Flight program kicks off today with the largest group ever. Powerhouse, amazing conglomeration of beings that have come together for this work. Super excited. So even if you're not in that program, and here, let me get my microphone in just to be sure that we've got volume. Even if you're not in that program, because you're part of this dragon family and part of the larger sphere, you're going to feel some things start happening over the next 9 weeks. And I wanted to bring your attention to something that happened last week. Many of you know I was off last week. I went into the wilderness to reset, and the timing was just amazing because when I planned the trip, it was to finish the second section of the John Muir Trail from Yosemite to Mammoth. 36.5 miles, really probably one of the most stunning sections of trail. And I have that intention every summer. I have a friend that I'm doing these larger trails with, and so we're working on that one. But when I planned that, I already had that plan before I was told to launch the Quantum Flight. And so when I calendared the Quantum Flight, we had permit dates, but not specific because we were trying to go earlier. So I just loved the alignment that came through with it being the exact week right before I'm launching Quantum Flight. And I'm always, in hindsight, we get the perfect clarity, right? But felt like it was going to be really special. Was really sort of surprised that in the first 2 days, so there's 5 days of hiking, and I do find that every time I go into the wilderness, it's always the furthest point from trailheads, from where people park and where most day hikers go, that magic starts to happen and the dragons start to show themselves. I hiked all the way around the Tahoe Rim Trail, finished it a couple years ago. It took us 7 summers, and I looked for dragons the entire way, and the only ones I found were well beyond the day hiking potential. So I find that a little interesting piece. They are really holding steady in the non-populated areas specifically. And when I got up for this third day of hiking, I was so surprised because I hadn't seen any. I'd expected some, because I just knew this was a preparation for this Quantum Flight group. And woke up the third day, had the odd experience of, and I even mentioned it to my friend, I said, we've got this odd combination of sunshine, I'm standing in the sun, and there's little snow flurries, and my friend said, what is that up in the sky? Is there ash falling, or what is that? And I said, it's actually snow. There's snowflakes. Isn't that strange? Because there's no clouds right here. And the only clouds behind us were very, very light, very feathery clouds. They didn't hold much moisture or anything. So here we were standing in this magical sunshine and snow flurries experience. And as we got camp put away, got ready to start hiking, as I turned and looked in the direction from whence we had come, there was a big, beautiful dragon in the sky, and the clouds just presented itself. It was the first one of the week. The first 2 days had been glorious. Even though there were partial clouds, there weren't particularly a lot of dragons in the sky that I had noticed. So here's one presenting right away, and I thought, okay, today's the magic. And so I just started walking, and we walked, had lunch, and then walked on, and about 1 o'clock, that cloud cover got a little more serious. The wind picked up, and we had to actually pull our ponchos out and cover, and you'll see, I'll put one of those photos in as well. I'm going to put the photos that I want to share in the comments section of the video, so that wherever the video gets shared, they will still be there, because I think the comments transfer. If they don't, and you see this video somewhere other than for the love of dragons, just let me know so that I can post the images. But past an area called Thousand Island Lakes, that's where the snow really started coming in droves. And it was, I should quantify or qualify that, because when I'm in a snowstorm, it's like landing and starting to collect. This was never collecting. It was light. It was definitely cold, but it was more like hail snowballs that would ruffle to the ground and then just sort of dissipate. And there wasn't even a lot of water on the ground. Some started to accumulate, but there wasn't any collection of snow. So it wasn't a heavy, heavy snowstorm, but it was Arctic wind, and I started feeling this shift energetically. So as we walked on, above Thousand Island Lakes, we had another climb and then a short climb after that. And that took us to some lakes that were called Emerald Lake, Ruby Lake, and the final destination that night was Garnet Lake. So we were actually staying on Garnet Lake. And I didn't really think anything of it. Knew there was something brewing in the air. And as we got to the first Emerald Lake, and I had called it Ruby Lake all morning, I got the map backwards. And so I said, oh, we're at Ruby Lake, but here we are. Well, look up, and I said, and look at why it's named Ruby Lake. Do you see all the red rock across there? And this particular friend isn't into dragons, so I didn't mention that part. But I'm looking straight up at this band of red rock, and there's the dragon. This beautiful ruby dragon, and you'll see in the picture, like, so distinctive, the mouth, the eye, the full face, absolutely magic. And I thought, oh, wow. Here we are. We're middle of the third day. Isn't this amazing? It's about 1:30. Actually, maybe 2 o'clock by the time we got to that lake. So not only am I halfway into the trip, 2.5 days in hiking out of 5, halfway in the distance, because we just passed halfway past Thousand Island Lakes, and here's where the dragons present. And so there's this beautiful, massive, and you'll see in the photo, it's the only red rock, and she is sitting there. She's created the red rock. She is the red rock. And behind her, on the ridge behind her, is a beautiful emerald dragon. Really big guardians of that area. And I started feeling the movement of many, many, many of the Middle Earth dragons. So Ruby and Emerald were there on the surface, but all the Middle Earth dragons started presenting or making me feel the connection into Middle Earth. There's a portal there, and of course, light language started flowing. I started communicating with them and allowing this heart communication, because I didn't feel that they needed to be awoken, but there was something that was transpiring where they were speaking to me and I back to them, and it was like a confirmation of, all right, we're ready. And then I felt this, and it went on as I kept hiking. So we took the photos, left, and kept hiking, because here it's still snowing and blowing, to get up to the next lake, which was Ruby Lake, which was odd because I think I had the names correct and the map might be wrong, because the red rock is behind Emerald Lake, and the green, that whole panel of rock, cliff face behind Ruby Lake is green rock. This beautiful, I want to say it's dolomite, I'm not sure, but this beautiful green rock. And so I'm still going to call them Ruby and Emerald backwards, because I felt the energies there. And the entire hike between those two, which was another uphill climb, I was in this space where I didn't notice the effort I was putting out. I didn't really notice, I wasn't cold, my hands weren't cold, I didn't have gloves on. This wind is blowing, the snow flurries are moving all around, and I was just in this almost trance-like state of light language moving through, connecting in, feeling this like marching force, this call to action happening within Middle Earth, and an opening and a reconnecting of this particular portal, but that all the dragons connecting in with someone who was aware of them, able to communicate with them, sense them on surface of the earth. It was an incredible unfolding of a call to action and a movement forward in the merge state between the layers. And I felt this song coming through. So I was just singing in light language, and it was really the most magical, tough hike. I know that I was breathing heavy and going uphill and all that, but this divine unfolding was happening. And I knew, like, okay, here it is, this is the magic. And then by the time we got to Garnet Lake, it had completed, and it was that middle section that was meant to be an opening and preparation, and I was shown, interestingly, that was part of the energy for this quantum flight group, and the alignment with it being on Thursday before we start on Tuesday. Most of you guys know, if you're in session or class with me, the energies start to flow anywhere from 48 to 72 hours before we begin, which is typically Sunday-ish. But I'm betting that some of them and some of you started feeling something last Thursday, because you're connected to my sphere through this group, of magic happening, of something unfolding, of something rising up from within you that was maybe a call to action, maybe a feeling of magic awakening. The ruby and the emerald dragons in particular, as some of you guys know, are about truth, personal truth, and the truth within the hearts of others. That chemistry, that movement into the heart space. Maybe you just felt a lot of heart energy movement, but it wasn't that emotional water dragon energy. It was more grounded, more earthy, more just pulling up from the depths of your being. And so I just wanted to share that story and make you aware of it. It was a profound and memorable experience for me. And as soon as, it started unexpectedly, it ended when it was supposed to. It went on for about an hour as I was walking. And then by the time we got to Garnet Lake, where we're going to set up camp, it was absolutely complete. And at 4 o'clock, the skies cleared. The snow was gone. It was still very cold that night. We were up at about, I want to say 9,600, 9,800 feet. We'd been over 10,000 the previous nights. So it had been very cold. It kept getting colder all week. So the water was frozen in the morning in the puddles around us, and it was probably high 20s where we were. So we felt very rugged. It was a very rugged day, and it matched the energy of the dragons, the rugged depths of the Middle Earth dragons, calling us forth that there's something unfolding here with a movement to action and a level of completion coming into the merge of the layers of the dimensional spheres of Gaia's bodies that are now able to interface more directly. Different portals have been opening for the last several years. I know that a lot of my dragon hearts, not a lot, some of my dragon hearts have had specific work with Middle Earth. They're connected to Middle Earth, and they've been opening portals around the globe. So this was more of a confirmation of, yes, this one is now fully open. There are others that are activating simultaneously, but it was more an awareness that that level is now at a readiness. The number of portals open, the number of connections open in Middle Earth and Deep Earth are now at a state where we can move into that merge, because we're merging on multiple levels over these next months. Between now and December 21st, there is definite merge state happening. So encourage you guys to pay attention to that in your own journeys. If you're feeling a connection with what I'm talking about, go back to last Thursday in your life, in your realm. What were you doing? What you were experiencing? See if it ties in, and call forth any of the Middle Earth dragons. Hello, Maui. Go back to that and call them out. If you don't know exactly what each does, whether it's the ruby, the emerald, the sapphire. I've got the sapphire up here today, and the peridot. I've also, you guys can't see them, but I have amethyst and citrine above them. All of the Middle Earth dragons, they are delineated specifically with their energetic in the Oracle deck guidebook and the cards. So if you were to pull these images, you would have the specific words associated with each. But your guidebook, if you have the deck, will bring all of the Middle Earth dragons forth. And I would say feel which one most directly is calling you, but you might feel them all calling. So it might help to actually lay out all of their images and go into the guidebook and read each of the messages and see what core element of those messages hits you for each one. So that's my encouragement this week. Just really excited for where we're at, where we're headed with the new group kicking off today. And I will be here for the next 9 weeks solid, not going anywhere. We are supposed to have an 8-week program, but I'm pretty sure it's 9, if not more. And we're just going to see what flows, because that's what we do. We're living in flow, and I encourage you to move every step forward into that flow that you can. There's so much on the table available right now energetically between what occurred on August 8th on the Lionsgate portal this year and what's unfolding for this year's December solstice. So I will see you next week, guaranteed. No more weeks off. The summer held a lot of sort of fluctuating on-off weeks, so I thank you for your patience and endurance to just wait for when I'm ready to do a live. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. If you have questions, send them to me. Email them or post them in the comments or direct message me. Because when I come on live here, I can always talk about whatever I want to talk about, but I'm really here to bring information for you guys. So if there's questions you have, send them in, because they're going to benefit everybody. The whole gamut of 5-6 years now of collection of videos that are on the YouTube channel are there because of questions or information that has flowed that I wanted to share with you. And it's an invaluable collection to go back and look through, and even if it was 4 years ago, it might hit for you today. So go through those videos, whether it's in the archives here in the For the Love of Dragons group or on the Invoke Healing International YouTube channel. I can actually add a link in the description here to make it easier for everybody to find that. But go through and just flip until one goes, wait, I need to listen to that one, because there's going to be a tidbit in there for you. And that's how our guides operate. They bring us the tidbits when we're ready for them. You might have even heard that video 3 or 4 years ago, and there was something in it you didn't catch that now you're actually ready to cognize, to bring into your journey and actually have expand in your field. So that's how it all operates. Please send your questions, and I'm so grateful to always be here with my dragon family. I love seeing you guys, love interacting with you guys, and I see a few of you on there with your comments. And yes, Deborah, lovely that you caught it today. I know that when you don't know when I'm coming on live, it is pure perfect alignment when you do get to catch the live. And I always honor and recognize each of you that click through and like, I'm going to catch it today, because it's always divine perfection. So have a beautiful day. We'll see you guys next week. Not sure what day, but probably Tuesday. We'll see. We'll see what unfolds. Have a great week for now. Bye, everybody.